especially and the funny part is, like, at the start of the stream is usually when I didn't have time to listen. Because right now it sounds like I'm talking to person. So I'm using OBS, so they can't hear you just yet, which is really funny. So they're gonna think I'm talking.
What we talk about the digital wrestling in. You already know we're here to talk what we shows. We may not be experts in the game, but we're giving our advice all the same. Like the Three Stooges, we'll bring the fun. Talking strong wrestling, second to none. Let's talk our shop, turn up the dial. Unfiltered opinions, that's our style. Crack our headphones and give us a listen. The Let's Talk podcast.
Really quick.
Talk. The Let's Talk podcast.
See if I can get to it. Samurai before they do. Hey Samurai, this goes in your general chat, right? That also happened. The first time that I was sharing up the shows, I shared it in Samurai's general chat. By accident. I reached out like, I'm so sorry.
Yep, I'm ready.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Let's Talk CAW podcast. I am your host, Triple Beat, alongside Against All Odds, Young Samurai, and our guest for today, Empress Alicia. Alicia, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. So Alicia runs a CAW federation called WSW. Alicia,
indeed I do.
Would you like to tell the audience a little bit about WSW and just what your show is all about?
Yes, basically WSW stands for Warrior and Survivor Wrestling. It's basically what I came up with my mother, who's known as Grand Empress Jennifer. But we try to be like a Fed that's not going to be like any other Fed out there, especially in the real life wrestling business, where some wrestling shows actually acknowledge certain health diseases when it comes to women's health, men's health. But here we take it a step further. We support all health issues, and especially a disease that most people are not very common or are aware of, and that is called endometriosis, or endo for short, since it's a very hard word to pronounce. And I basically use my character, my Empress character, and my mother uses her Grand Empress character to help spread awareness. My mother is a stage 1 double mastectomy breast cancer survivor, warrior, and continued fighter of a very aggressive breast cancer. And that's why she wears the color pink on the attire. Me, on the other hand, the yellow represents endometriosis, and of course, March is Endometriosis Awareness Month. I am one of 10 women throughout the world who went through it. Went through stage 4 endometriosis. I also went through 3 different surgeries to try and survive this thing, because you have to understand, endometriosis is not a very common disease. And people keep asking me, like, what is endometriosis? Like, I've never heard of it. Well, basically, it's where chocolate cysts grow outside of the uterus whenever a woman has her monthly cycle. Now, I apologize if I say this in front of you men, but you gotta realize, too, certain men also can get it, too. Did you know that?
I did not. And
Nope.
wow.
Now you know.
Wow.
And that's why I use my Empress CAW to help spread awareness, because she's like me in many ways, even though she's royalty. But in real life, I'm not. My mother is not in real life. Our characters are royalty, our main ones, actually. But, so if you see the Endometriosis Awareness logo on the Empress's attire, that helps bring out the awareness in the CAW itself. What's funny about my Empress CAW is that she and her mother like to share a lot of things. They are also very athletic. They are very, very resilient in regards to trying to get things done. And we have a catchphrase, like, especially me, it's warrior time and it's time to inspire. But if you look at my mother, aka the Grand Empress, she's known as it's survivor time, it's time to inspire. Because we want to be able to share our stories without being judged and whatnot, and impact others throughout the world, not just in our home state, if you will. So, anyway, so I was actually diagnosed with stage 4 endometriosis back in 2012, but I started having symptoms when I was 12 years old, and I'm almost 42 in real life. So, so I've been going at it since I was, for like, give or take, 30 years.
Wow.
But then after my 3rd surgery in 2012, I didn't have as much pain as I once did. But I'm telling you guys, having endometriosis is not a good feeling at all whatsoever. Because it takes away your normalcy. It takes away your ability to be a mother, even though some women do become mothers with having that disease. Now, even though it's not, now let me tell you guys something. It may not be cancerous, but it can spread like cancer throughout the body. And there's no cure. So that's why I always want to give permission to the streamers and post the link for the Endometriosis Foundation of America that's based from New York City. And because they do a lot of research, they raise a lot of money to help find those people, like the specialists out there, who can take these women without being judged and being dismissed. Especially when it comes to the ER situation. Like, doctors and nurses will eventually dismiss you thinking that nothing's wrong with you when you know for sure that it is.
Yeah.
And I almost died twice on the operating table. So
I've wow. Wow. I don't even know what to say. Yo. Hey, what's up, Q?
hi.
Thank you.
We have a special guest with us today. Empress Alicia. She was just giving us a little bit of her backstory. Alicia has her own CAW Wrestling Federation, and wow, I don't even know what to say. Like,
And then my mother went through stages of chemo to where she had, I mean, luckily she didn't have radiation, but she lost all of her hair, and luckily she was able to grow all that back. But yeah, just seeing my mother went through breast cancer herself, like my grandmother and my aunt also went through it. So, like, we're a family of survivors, warriors, and fighters of all kinds, and that's why we decided to come up with warrior and survivor wrestling, because and we have a saying goes, we are WSW, because that's just who we are. And whether it's real life, I wish it was real life, but it's an actual Xbox eFed promotion that I run through my Xbox. But and of course, the colors that we normally use is pink and yellow as our starters, because that's who we are.
Okay.
Those are our awareness colors, and we may not always hold championship belts in real life, but in character, we will. And we want to be inspirational leaders to many out there. Like, hell, I mean, there was a time where I actually met wrestlers and Vicky Guerrero herself. Like, we actually met Vicky Guerrero
Wow.
several years ago. Yes, and her famous saying, "Excuse me," that sort of thing. No, but that's how she is. She inspired. She was inspired by us to where, people need to understand. We don't stop smiling because we went through so much. We keep going and we keep fighting. And we keep spreading the word, hey, this disease is real. It's not in our heads.
Yeah.
So that's why Empress Alicia was created, and that's why Grand Empress Jennifer was created, because they're royalty, but they're different.
That is okay. So your federation, WSW, you mainly do lives on Twitch, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then do you take like those Twitch streams and then repost them on YouTube, or?
Yes, I do. I have to, because my console won't allow me to do that, unfortunately.
Okay, so you go in through Twitch afterwards and then grab the replay and upload it to YouTube and run it that way, essentially. Okay.
Yep.
And then, like the booking for the shows and whatnot, do you do a lot of that on Discord, or like how when you're looking at, like,
I do, but I used to do a little bit of universe mode, but for some reason, like, my game has a hard time, like, not doing it smoothly, so that's why I went back to doing it through play mode, and that's fine, because I don't want to have to, like, get a frozen game and having to restart it and then having to pick up again. So that's where I was like, and the funny thing with me in universe mode, I like the cutscenes, but I don't like how they like to change the storylines from heel to babyface and vice versa. what I like to do is I like to allow our superstars to tell us, oh, hey, I want to turn heel, or hey, I want to turn face, or hey, I want to join a faction, and I'll say, okay, we'll get it set up that way.
Okay.
Like, we allow our superstars to make up their own stories.
Okay. That's a cool way to run it.
And yes, we do allow child superstars. Like, we actually have child superstars in our company, so.
Okay.
Let's just say it's a family-oriented thing.
Hey, you know what? There's no wrong way to do it, right? We all do it slightly different, and I think that's actually really cool. You're allowing kids to get involved and keeping it family oriented. That's actually really, really cool.
Yeah, it is.
I did get to check out one of your shows, and it was your Super Summer Showdown.
Yes, Super Summer Showdown, which is our version of SummerSlam. Yes.
And that arena, the arena for one was really cool. I liked how you had it set up. I liked the color scheme that you used for it. The way the arena was set up, it was a lot of fun to watch. And tell us a little bit about those cards and like what kind of led to your bigger matches on those cards. How to put this? How do you go about like building your matches or like getting them ready to go for the cards?
Well, basically, we have a team. Actually, and it's funny how you mentioned it, because when I first started, I didn't know how to build up bigger matches, and I didn't know how to make a show a success like it is now. But I gotta give props to Devin Brolsky, owner of ONW. I gotta give props to CJ, owner of NWF, ICW, Blood Kingdom, our affiliated shows in the 2K spectrum. But yeah, we actually had help along the way, and we brainstorm ideas. Like there was actually a match that I came up with, that I actually made up, that my Empress car is so good at what she does. It's called the Royal Brawl match, and a lot of people are thinking, like, what is that match? Like, how does that consist of? And that's when I said it's a 20-minute, or it can be a 30-minute, it doesn't matter. Iron Woman false count anywhere, or Iron Man false count anywhere, and it makes it a heck of a 5-star match in singles competition. But then we also came up with the same type of scenario, but with the tag division. So where one person from one team scores, and then like another person from the same team scores, and vice versa, and we combine the two people into one score. Like for instance, someone would get 2, and then another person from the same team would get 1, and we would combine it to 3, and like the other team would get nothing. So it's pretty cool how it works that way.
Okay.
Just an example.
All right. So, Samurai or Odds, do you guys have any questions for Alicia?
Let Odds go first if he likes.
Okay. You start against all odds.
I don't think it's happened.
Pikachu!
You're fine.
So you know it's live, people. We don't always plan our questions.
Us plan?
Us plan? When have we ever done that?
That's a very good question.
If we ever start planning, it'd be the apocalypse.
Right?
I wonder if the chat has any questions
how
for
long
me.
have you been in this wacky world of car wrestling?
Oh gosh. You know what? That's a good question. I think we started right after we did. My mother and I watched Fighting with My Family in theaters. It was so funny. Because most of the time it was just mostly me doing CAW and not my mother. But after we saw the movie Fighting with My Family, that's when everything changed. And then I didn't become an EFED owner until 2021 after my dad passed away. But then I started watching other EFED owners learn how to book shows and run a business, that sort of thing. And then that's where it got me the idea, okay, maybe this is going to be fun, maybe this is going to be easy. No, it's not easy, but I try my best to not give up either, because if you give up, then other people are going to win, and you don't want that. So I always have the saying, always do your best and never give up on anything that is standing before you in your way. And you keep going, you keep grinding, and you stay determined. So that's what we try and do. And then, but when we first started doing CAW, it was through a friend of ours in the EFED world, who used to run a promotion called QZW. It used to be known as Quarantine Zone Wrestling, now turned into Crocatoad Pro Wrestling. Shout out to Crocatoad on Twitch. Awesome. Yeah, he was one that got us started, because we were on the verge of trying to look for an EFED that would accept our characters and accept us for who we are. So then, ever since then, we've been doing CAW for the longest time. But I think we started doing it, in 2016, 2017, something like that.
Okay.
But I've been a wrestling fan since 2006, 2007, so.
Okay.
Quite a long time.
That is a long time. Hot.
What?
Do you have any more questions?
I was more thinking Samurai had something.
Samurai.
I'll be honest, the first question you asked kind of bit into what I was gonna ask.
What about the chat? Don't they have any questions that they want to ask me?
Yeah, do you guys have any questions for Alicia? Before we continue, do you have any questions for her about her EFED?
Here's the question. Besides Empress and Grand Empress, those two calls, I think you have two others, the American Gladiators.
Yes, that is correct.
I'm assuming the inspiration I think you had said was off the TV show of the same name.
Yes, it was. It was based off the '90s show, The American Gladiators. And Diamond and Ice were the gladiators, but they, but we had our own little twist to Diamond and Ice. The gladiators on the TV series weren't mother-daughter. They were more like friends and teammates. But in our worlds, we were known as a mother-daughter gladiator team. But at the time, when I first created them, they were known as Alicia, Diamond, and Jennifer Ice. Because I wanted to add our first names and then add their names as our last names, so to speak. I mean, it's cheesy and it's funny at the same time, but that's how I did it. That's how I imagined it. Because I first started doing 2K18 on my Nintendo Switch before it got all haywire.
God,
I mean, that was the only wrestling game I had at that time. I mean, that was the only wrestling game I had at that time. Before I made the transition to the Xbox from 2K22, 23, and now 24. So it's Okay.
My crazy butt had 18 on the Switch, on PC, and on PlayStation for some weird reason. I don't know what my reasoning was behind it, but I had it on all three consoles. I know that's random.
How funny. How funny.
I remember flying home. I remember flying home for Christmas and playing it on the Switch on the plane, just to give me something to do. I was watching like random matches or something like that.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Yeah, but when I first and I didn't mean to cut you off there, Triple B.
You're good.
But before I did any wrestling games, I was more like my mom and I were more into retro games, like back from our childhood. Like if you guys recall the Super Mario Brothers series, the Sega Genesis, the Super Nintendo 64, the NES, you name it, you've done it all.
Man, I'd say probably one of my favorite games from the Super Nintendo was probably Jurassic Park, The Lost World Jurassic Park. The side scroller.
Oh, really?
Yeah, side scroller shooter type game, and it was a ton of fun. But the 60. The Nintendo 64 was kind of my introduction to wrestling games in general. I'd go over to my buddy's house and we would play either No Mercy or something else. Oz, did you say squirrel?
No, I said what a random pick.
Yeah.
When most people are thinking the Nintendo, most people don't pick a Jurassic Park game.
I know. Good times during the summer playing games with my friends.
Yeah, we were more into like the Super Mario games, because the Mario games was like a classic games like that we would play as kids, and especially with my sister, like we used to play games like that all the time. And now my mother would always help try to get to the World 8, and because we would struggle every single time, and I remember going to like the 4th world and afraid of falling off, because like I had this weird anxiety where like I'm trying to get Mario across to the other side and without falling in, and I would freak out. I'm like, help me please. And then she would like rush over and it's like, okay, let me help. She was always funny that way. She really is.
So, with the retro games and whatnot, have you, or are there any like references to the game from the old video games that you've thrown into your show, or like into certain characters per se, or let's say like do you have any members of your roster that are like almost references to like the old video games that you used to play or that kind of stuff?
No. Actually there was maybe one or two that I made as CAWs, like Kimberly and Trini from the Power Rangers. Like I'm a big Power Rangers fan. Like I grew up watching them from the early 90s. 30 years ago. So yeah, I'm not old.
Us three would not know anything about Power Ranger CAWs.
Yeah, we totally don't have a faction called Morphing Power at all.
Maybe you should take it from me then. But actually, I just recently created 2 characters. I'm also like a Thundercats fan. Are you familiar with the Thundercats?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you familiar with the villain Mumra?
It's been a long time. I really just remember Leo, or whatever his name was. The
Lion-O? Yeah.
Lion-O. Yeah, he's the character that I remember from it. my cousin was the one that was really big into Thundercats, and we didn't have Cartoon Network growing up. So whenever I go visit, we get to watch, but like I never really got to.
Yeah, but let's just say I made my own rendition of Mumra. Okay. And then I also created Mal from Descendants. I love Disney's Descendants. Like children of the original Disney characters. I love it. So I created Mal. I still got to create the others, but yeah, Mal was actually one of my favorites out of all of the villain kids from Disney's Descendants. So I know it's a child in me, but you know, it is what it is.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with embracing the child within you, and
no, absolutely not.
Especially in the wacky world of CAW, there is nothing wrong with that whatsoever. That's kind of like one of my favorite things to see. I love it when people use references from their childhood or whatnot in their characters. Like
right.
For instance, I'll use a character from my show that it's one of Odds' characters. Ashley Knight. She has an attire. Okay. She has an attire that is a Green Ranger attire. I don't think she has it in 24 or.
She doesn't have it in. She doesn't have it in 24. She probably will at some. She probably will at some point. I'll bring it out.
Interesting.
I'll bring it out at some point.
Paying homage to the late Jason David Frank, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
She's got a line in her theme song. If you listen closely enough to it, you'll hear them say you'll hear the singer sing Ashley Trackin'. Like I snuck that into her theme song too. So like,
oh gosh, using when Ashley Knight had the Lord Draken attire.
Yep, I snuck it in.
Oh jeez, yep.
I was like, I wonder if he's gonna hear it or not. I'm a sneaky little bad when it comes to theme songs.
Which, by the way, that attire will never come back.
Hey guys,
you never know.
Too much of a pain to try to remake.
It's Goddess.
No, the logos that I used then were good then, but they're not good now. They pretty much degraded over the years, and there's no way of finding better ones. So it's pretty much a lost cause.
Anyway, yeah, I actually met Samurai through VXW, wasn't it? Odds?
Yeah, I mean, it was VXW.
Yeah, that's right. It was Samurai, because like that was like the first time I've ever met you.
Well, you have at least like clashed with a couple of other calls outside of there. Like, for example, I believe Fatalis on like whenever they come back.
Oh, Fatalis, yeah. That is Freddy's E-Fed.
Yeah. I think you're just using Freddy because that's the character they're most known for right about now.
Yep. Yeah, and actually Freddy was one that I met. Yeah, that it was through ADW WDW, the Robbie's Fed. But anyway. Yeah, I mean, it's a small world, if you know what I'm saying. It's like we don't meet people by accident.
Oh, yeah.
There's always a purpose.
Most definitely.
Let's see here. Jump over to here too and hit live.
So yeah, like I do have a question for you guys though. What do you think of our of our COD performances that you've seen?
The matches that I've seen so far, where I've used Alicia in matches, have been really good. I've got you paired up against a few people in MXT right now, which is kind of like it's my testing ground almost, where I'll bring in.
I know, like your NXT sort of thing. Yep, I know.
Kind of, in a way. It's probably out of all the shows that I do, it's the most sports-based one, because it's like if you win a match, you move up in the card, and if you lose a match, you go down on the card, which is kind of it's an interesting way to do it.
Okay.
So that's kind of how it works, and with MXT, there's that mid-match, that third match, and if you're a champion and you fall down to the third match, let's say you lose 2 matches and you fall down to that third mid-card match, you instantly have to defend your title. So you have to stay above the mid-card match to be a champion. You can't go further down than that match on that show.
That's quite understandable. Yeah, that's quite understandable.
And if a pay-per-view is coming up and the champion falls down to the mid-card, and you're in the upper card, which means that you're not challenging for the title, if you're in that main event match, you actually get a special match at the pay-per-view against someone for an opportunity to make it onto one of the other shows.
Now, I don't know if you guys were aware that there was a guy from ERPW or RGW by the name of Miles Logan. Shout out to him. Eternal Wrestling on Twitch. He created 2 custom titles that are not to be used as defendable titles. It's only for show, only for awareness. And I wanted to ask, some eFed owners who actually have our characters on their shows to see if they want to showcase those titles just for awareness purposes only. And it's only made for them, sort of speak. So, and of course they're up on the CC still. I don't know how others are grabbing those titles, but maybe they're using them as replica titles or whatever, but if you will. But yeah, I would love to see if maybe we can showcase those titles on the shows, for awareness purposes only,
Okay, so it'd be in a way, kind of like a $1 million championship where the character wears the belt out to the ring, essentially, just to show awareness for it.
Right, correct.
I'd be okay doing that. hearing your story and hearing the entire thing at the start, I'd be more than happy to have your character walk out with that belt if it helps raise awareness for your cause. So
yeah, I mean, because there's also another gal on my roster who actually met through Twitch, who's also went through battling endometriosis. Her name is Felicity Ryan, and if you don't know who she is, she's a VTuber, but she also went through endometriosis like me. So big shout out to Felicity Ryan. You can find her on social media. You can find her on Twitch. She has those cat ears and cat tail, whatever. It's so cute, and she wears mostly yellow. But I remember popping into her stream one time, and she was raising money for awareness, and I'm like, okay, this is the gal I want to see. So, but yeah, she went through different doctors and specialists herself, to try and get rid of her own endo situation, starting her own journey. And I'm like, okay, this is the girl I want to talk to. So, yeah, big shout out to Felicity Ryan. Again, fellow Endo warrior, fellow Endo sister, and we also want to try and let our other Endo sisters around the world, hey, we're doing this for them. Like, we're doing this to help spread awareness and allowing others to see that this disease is real, not in our heads, like some people think it is. Again. So.
Yeah. Oh, I would have no problem having Alicia walk out with the belt. So.
And I thank you for that.
Mm-hmm. And every once in a while now, I'll go ahead and share this. Every once in a while I do edited shows where everything is predetermined, etc. and whatnot. And if you ever wanted me to have her, let's just say, defend the belt, obviously it would be set up so that way she didn't lose it. Because it's supposed to be her belt.
Our secrets!
Our secrets, I know, I'm breaking everything down. Oh, no!
Oh, you're revealing our secrets!
Matches. How dare I do that?
No, it's fine.
It's all in the name of story. But like, if
absolutely.
I were running a storyline with her where it was like, okay, let's say I have one of my heels, because your character, with everything that she's been through, is that instant, to me, screams instant babyface. Like,
she's a big baby face. Yes. Very big baby face. Now I do want to point out though, she does have an alter ego. Okay. Her and her mother both have an alter ego.
Okay.
Now I did have their alter ego cause at one point, but their names are Isis and Demonica. They're like their demon versions. And I'm gonna try and bring them back whenever, but like for a storyline, whenever. But like, I think they were like one of the most difficult creations I've ever done. But at the same time, I love to be creative. Like, but I don't want to do it over the top. Like, I don't want to add like too many tattoos or face paint. I want to be able to make it to where it's simple, but enough to make it work.
And I could see that. I mean, we actually all three of us have alter ego cause that have alter egos. Like, for me, it would be Delvin McLeod. He's got the demon gimmick, so he'll be normal Delvin for the longest time, and I only bring this out when I really, really have to. So I had him fighting Freedom's Reign, and if you have seen the show, you'll know Freedom's Reign is this like 600-pound giant.
Oh god,
600 pound. That's overboard. Okay, he's 470.
God, all right, 470. So he's the 470-pound giant, right? And I had Delvin pull out the demon gimmick for it. But that was the last time that he used it, because Reign was so massive and the fight was so long that in story it drained it from him. He couldn't use it anymore. So the next time he tries to use it is going to be interesting, and I'll get there when I get there. But
right. Now, I do want to point out, though, that Demonica is the silent but deadly type. She doesn't talk. She's very muted, like to where she can't hear. But she uses her movement and her athleticism to do the talking for her. That's the Demonica gimmick. Now, Isis, on the other hand, she is the more talkative. She's the more, like, the mastermind of the planning situation when it comes to chaos and destruction, that sort of thing. And the ultimate heel, like her mother, but like I said, she normally does the talking. Like I said, it's funny, but at the same time, like, if you were to look back at seeing what Isis and Demonica, like in other feds, were doing, then, like, especially in O&W, like, they've done it all.
See,
so it's crazy. It's crazy.
I am such a little kid right now. I heard silent but deadly, and my brain went somewhere else completely.
I mean, that's the gimmick of what Demonica was going to be, because like my mother even gave me the idea, like, because she wanted her car to be more like to be involved, just like my characters would be.
Okay.
It's like if I don't do something with her character now, she'll be like, okay, why am I not booked like as that character? I'm like, okay, Mom, I'll figure something out. She's very crazy that way, but at the same time, she tries to have fun, and she's not really the type of person that wants to be active and like getting into character so much, because you have to realize her breast cancer took most of her memory away, to where she's starting to forget a lot of things. So, and a lot of people should understand that. So,
we actually have somebody in here who's, or in the chat right now, who's also been fighting cancer for quite a while. So,
oh hell yeah. Congratulations, and keep on fighting the good fight, whoever you are. So, be an inspirational leader. Just like we always said, it's warrior time or it's survivor time. It's time to inspire. Let's be those inspirational leaders that we are today.
Okay. So, do you have any questions? So now I'm gonna flip. We're gonna do something here now where we kind of flip the script a little bit. So
okay.
Do you have any questions for myself, Odds, or Samurai?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I do. I have a question for all three of you. What made you get into wrestling in the first place?
It's a good one. Odds, I will let you go first.
Since I probably have the not the most vivid of memories. the first thing of wrestling that I ever saw, which goes back a long ways, had to be like 5 at the time. The TV was on, and I'm watching the wrestling on screen. I've never been able to find the match, but the two people on screen wrestling were The Rock and Odd Man Johnson.
Okay, I've heard of The Rock, but I've never heard of the other one.
And since then, I've been hooked. Odd Man Johnson was, let's say in early '90s version of Bobby Lashley.
Oh, okay.
Just not well liked in the back, and had an attitude, and was not long for the wrestling world.
Right.
Besides his stint in late WCW, but I don't think anyone wants to remember that.
I don't know about that. I know some people do remember that, but I don't think I was around when that happened. The only thing I do remember being around was when the Hardys were were in a wrestling match, like Matt and Jeff Hardy. But the man that got me hooked was Jeff. I don't know why, but Jeff was the one that got me hooked. I did talk to Matt a couple times recently. Matt's actually a pretty cool guy, but Jeff was the one that got me more interested because of his athleticism and his high-flying moves. Okay. And that's actually how I got the inspiration of having my characters, or our characters, be high flyers, because in real life we're okay on when it comes to flying, but we don't do that high flying stunt that they do in the ring. But But yeah, we're fans of high flyers. We really are. So what about you, Samurai? Like, what got you into wrestling?
Okay. If you're talking about like real life wrestling, it was actually a bit of a conversation where I know some buddies of mine were talking about like wrestling from way back.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the matches that came up was CM Punk versus John Cena at Money in the Bank 2012.
Ooh, I think I've seen that one.
I went to go watch that match for myself because I was curious, and it got me hooked.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think I then spiraled off and started going into like watching more CAW wrestling, and then I think the other match I came back into watching was WrestleMania 34, and I think the match that I tuned into was the unfortunate John Cena versus Undertaker matchup. And I mean that the unfortunate match because I think it was that on top of maybe Styles versus Nakamura.
Oh, okay.
The approach for me, it's like for me, real life wrestling, I don't really ever watch. But it got me into this hobby that pretty much we all enjoy, which is just making fictional wrestlers and then having them fight it out.
Oh, how hilarious is that? Yeah, TJ was saying like good luck in a match in BTW. I'm like, oh god. And I don't know why he keeps calling me Alicia Chan. I'm like, I'm not Japanese. It's so funny.
And I guess this transitions the question now to Beetle. Beetle, what got you into wrestling?
So mine was when I would go visit my grandparents. My grandfather used to watch WCW. This is
interesting.
This is probably 1996, 1997, I think. I was probably, I would have to have been at the time at least maybe 10. But we would go, and we were living with my grandparents for a little while. And when I was in second grade, first and second grade, we were living with my grandparents. And my grandfather would watch Nitro. He never watched WWF, but he would always watch Nitro. So I would sneak out into the living room, and I would sit at their kitchen table kind of off in the back, and I'd watch Nitro from the kitchen table sometimes. And whenever my cousin would be in town, I had a cousin who would be in town, and he'd be in town and he'd get to stay up and watch the entire thing. But Mom would make me go to bed at 9 because I had school in the morning. So I was like, dang it. So I'd try and sneak out to watch a little bit more if I could, or I'd lay in bed awake and I'd listen because you could hear the TV from our bedroom. So that was my introduction to wrestling and whatnot. And that was kind of right when I started watching was right when Sting was doing the Crow gimmick. Right when he changed to the Crow, and he would stand up in the rafters and point the baseball bat down. And then I just remember him dropping from the rafters, and I remember watching. There was an episode where he took out everyone in the ring, and
how funny!
He dropped down with the baseball bat, and he got rid of all the NWO members. And I didn't understand it about the same. I didn't really understand it at the time. I thought Hogan and the NWO were the faces. And I thought
Sting... But they weren't. They were the heels, right?
I thought Sting was the bad guy. But looking back, the NWO were the heels and Sting was the good guy protecting the company. I didn't realize it at the time. So as a kid, I thought that Sting was the heel, not the face. I didn't understand. So I'm looking going, why is this guy going down there and attacking them? They're not doing anything to him. And and now that I look back, I realize that Hogan, even when he was in the NWO, was booking himself more like a babyface than a heel when he was the heel.
Meaning he couldn't cut a heel promo to save his life?
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
He was a babyface, and he wasn't. And yo, what's up, Trav? How you doing? Welcome in. Welcome in, Feet.
Hi.
Scorpion. Byron Cutler, welcome to the stream. I'm doing good, bro.
Yo.
But yeah, that was.
I'll be honest.
That was my introduction to it.
Oh, how
I'll be honest
funny.
though, you're talking about that whole thing of like Sting was the bad guy and all that shit. I think I actually remember asking one of my buddies like who he supported in the whole like John Cena CM Punk thing. He's like, I support the hometown boy.
Well, that's the even funnier part. Is I grew up in California, and from what I understand, Sting is
I was
from
too.
Sting is from California. So, and Hogan was from like I forgot where he's from, but it's
Well, in I think in gimmick, yes, or possibly real life. Who knows? They said he was from Venice Beach.
Ah.
Yeah, Venice Beach. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, my mom and I actually came from California like late last year. So, but we live in another state now. But I'm not gonna say where. But let's just say like we came from back west.
Okay.
So, born and raised in California.
Same.
Okay, so what part of Cali like did you grow up in?
Disney area.
No way, Anaheim, huh?
Yep. 5 minutes
No
away.
way.
Worked there.
Love Disneyland, dude.
I worked there for 10 years.
Wait, did you really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, okay, so what part of Disneyland did you work through, if you don't mind me asking?
So I worked in Tomorrowland. I worked at a restaurant called Tomorrowland Terrace, which is now I believe they're calling it Galactic Grill. I
know exactly where that is.
Yeah,
my mom and I used to go to Disneyland all the time. Do you remember? I don't know if I even remember seeing you there. Like, I'm trying to remember. Like, but here's the thing: I don't recall what you looked like in real life, though. That's the thing.
I always worked in the back, so you wouldn't have seen me there, and that was before I became a live streamer. So I also was clean cut. I was clean cut. I look completely different than I look in any of the images you'll see on my channel.
Yeah.
I moved up north a few years back, but for 10 years.
Oh, okay.
10 years I worked at Disney. I worked at Galactic Grill, and I was a kitchen lead and food prep, essentially.
Interesting.
So I was in the kitchens.
So did you so when you had your days off, did you get to ride any rides or any of the attractions and watch the shows?
So I could get in whenever I wanted to. But when I was working there, I was also in school full time, so I was a full-time college student while working full-time at Disney. So it was like having two full-time jobs.
Yeah. Now, did you have what was your favorite ride there?
I'm gonna say it's the last ride that I rode there before I left, and that was Space Mountain.
Okay.
Fun fact. Since I worked there, I think it was my last week, they were doing special maintenance on that ride, and they were letting cast members ride it with the lights on. So I actually got to ride Space Mountain with the lights on. And
must be nice.
Oh, it was cool. It's like a fair coaster. You have no idea, but
I've been on it twice. The only problem with that is it's hard for me to see at night because when it's so dark, because I'm also autistic in real life, so and plus I get dizzy very easily. To where if I can't see where I'm going, it's I get dizzy. I don't know why, but especially like at the very end. But yeah, my favorite ride. Oh gosh, I love Indiana Jones. I love Pirates of the Caribbean. Actually, my mother does too. It's funny because I don't want to leave her out of it as much as I can help it. She'd be like, "Okay, Alicia, you need to stop leaving me out of this." But we love we actually rode gosh, what's it called? The Mark Twain Riverboat. That was a good one. We loved Small World. But going through the castle was actually the biggest thrill, like the biggest opportunity, like doing that castle walkthrough. That was actually one of my favorites. Like every time we would go into the park, if I had the ability to do that, I would actually go through the castle, walk through it, and then walk out into Fantasyland. So it's really cool.
For me, it was the Casey Jones train. That was another one.
Yes.
That one stands out to me because my grandparents would take us to the park when I was really little, and I have this memory of being on that train and my grandfather acting like a caged animal in one of the trains, trying to make us laugh. So for me,
that's hilarious.
That ride has like the nostalgia pinch to it. That and the Peter Pan.
And you're gonna freak when you hear this. Xbox had a 2017 game called Disneyland Adventures. Are you familiar with that?
Not really. I do know that there was a game that I played with some friends on PC, and there was a modded map that was Disneyland Park. Now it's a horror game, okay? So it's not like
oh god no.
It's killing floor. So it's you're killing zombies, and it's this bloody, nasty, messed up game. But they made Disney. They made a Disney map on it, and you could literally run around and kill zombies in all the
nasty.
different lands. Yeah, it was kind of fun. It was silly, but it was also fun.
Okay, now I do want to tell you though, if you go to one of my YouTube videos that I posted on Twitch back in March, this one video that's less than an hour long was made over 6,000 views.
Oh wow!
I'm telling you, it's that good.
Okay.
I'm just gonna add one more thing.
Whatever.
One more thing to the Disney thing. The last time I went, I think my favorite ride, from on top of my head, was probably Rock and Roller Coaster. A ride that scared the hell out of me as a kid because of how fast it was. Nowadays,
are you talking about the one in California or the one in Florida?
Florida. But I know it's in California as well. It's the same kind of thing.
I didn't go to one in Florida though. We always wanted to go to one in Florida, but not. Yeah, I didn't see any of it in California. I mean, I know that there was California Adventure, but that we also went to. But Disneyland was our thing. Disneyland was definitely our park to go. But yeah.
One land that
any other questions you guys want to ask me, or if the stream has any questions that they want to ask me before we move on or go?
Do you guys have any questions for Alicia? Maybe about her federation. We'll give you guys a few minutes to come up with stuff. So your Twitch channel, I happen to notice, because I always look at these types of things. I have to give you big props. You have over 800 followers on Twitch. That is.
I wish there was more, but I'll take whatever I can get. And actually, the funny thing was, the majority of those followers were from Soraya herself.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Soraya rated me 1 year, and I think this was during the time that I had my birthday month, and I was playing Mario Party 2 on the laptop, through an emulator, and the next thing I know, I'm just minding my own business, and all of a sudden, I had a raid of over 300 people.
Damn.
She's big, and check this out. That's not even one person. Her whole family raided my mother and I in different times.
Wow.
And get this, I also got raided from Matt Raywold, formerly known as Aiden English. I was rated by him.
Ooh.
I was rated by the Hardys. We both were. Then I was rated by Jessica Havoc and Marty Casaus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's insane.
Let's just say we had people as our references to help with bring in real life wrestlers in to support small streamers.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it really was amazing. And I actually wanted to start. Yeah, we actually wanted to start an eFed where our Twitch followers in Twitch community wanted to be involved. So because that's how we are. We want people involved. We want people to interact with each other. We want people to be active, and I mean, to the best of their ability, of course. But and here's the thing: I'm not just like an owner. I'm also a general manager for other feds. So I've got a lot going on in my plate. How in the hell do I do it? I don't know. It's not easy.
I was gonna say I've never actually been a general manager for a Fed before, but I believe that you and I believe Kyle, I believe you've also been a GM for a Fed before too. So
I'm currently a GM for a couple Feds.
Okay. Then this might actually be a good question for both of you. What is it like being a GM for another streamer's eFed, and how, like, what do you enjoy about it? There you go. That's a good question. What do you enjoy about being a GM for another Fed?
Well, it's not easy, that's for sure. I do enjoy planning match cards. I do enjoy helping with title makings. Even though I'm not really that great of a title maker, but I love to I do mostly plan women's matches. Now for O&W, I'm a general manager for the female show called Rebellious Evolution, formerly known as Rebellion, and at that time, actually, WSW used to have an all-men's show and an all-women's show. Now, the all-women's show is known as Girl Power, and then the all-men's show is known as Combat Zone. So, and sorry if I'm going a little too fast, I apologize.
Oh, you're good.
I'm very talkative. I'm like my late father. He was very talkative. So but yeah,
like European samurai.
Yep. Yep. But yeah, gosh, it's hard work. Like, especially because I'm also general manager for NWF. I'm also a general manager of ISCW, but I'm also general manager and vice president of Blood Kingdom Extreme. That's ran by Damian Cross. Now ICW is ran by Iceman 3000. But then ONW is ran by Devin Brolsky. Awesome people. And of course CJ, his character's children actually took over because his main character died in a storyline automobile accident. So, but the creator of those CAWs is an awesome guy, very cool guy. A lot of fun to be around. But at the same time, they helped make our shows a success. And because Devin Brolsky was actually a real indie wrestler himself, actually. So, and plus, I don't know if you guys know this, but we just recently signed a former Tough Enough competitor by the name of Robin Cox, better known as Taurus. Did you know that?
I did not. That's really cool.
Yeah, very nice guy. And he's actually in California, but originally from Gary, Indiana. But he's a really awesome guy. I told him my story, and he was like, "Wow, you really are an inspiration." Because I said, "I'm not here to mess around. I'm here to inspire others around me that want to know and want to listen to my story and my mother's story." So, because how would people know if we don't tell it ourselves and experienced it ourselves? How would they know?
Yep.
Because they won't. So.
Wow. All right. So, Samurai.
Yes.
The same question goes to you, sir, about booking shows and whatnot. What are your experiences with booking and being a GM on other shows?
It depends, really, because so far the two shows that I really GM for are kind of more story oriented, but more like record, we figure out if there's going to be an angle to it, and like stuff like that. It does annoy me when like one of the general managers goes over my head and does something without like telling me, "Hey, I'm going to do this." I've given him an earful for that before. I'm not going to name names. Is he listen to this podcast?
Ooh, Channel Littleton, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you, whoever you are.
And then with Mob, it's like
Scorpion.
it's one of those things where it's like nowadays it's like I can't really figure a way to book everything because sometimes I have to deal with the fact that I have some people who might be messaging me in DMs, going demanding matches and shit like that. Like it hasn't happened all that much. It's just been like one instance.
Yeah.
But it's still annoyed the fuck out of me.
Yeah, I hear you there.
Otherwise, it's not that bad. It also gives me a chance to explore other ideas I can use for my own show.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I know. I still need to get an SCD episode out. Fucking get off my ass.
I said nothing.
I know you said nothing, but I know someone's going to say something. Someone's going to say, "Oh, Kyle can do a podcast, but he can't get an SCD episode."
I didn't say anything either. I know.
I know. You don't. I know you. Now that you say anything,
about. Is it a certain smartass who might be watching us on Twitch?
No, but that certain smartass will know the person I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's right.
Is it? Damn it, odds. Oh, it's rage. It's like I'm trying to find around the bush.
It's not rage.
So it's not Rage or Chaz.
I'm not gonna name names on stream. I'll tell you after the stream, though.
Alright.
Okay, I will tell you this though. No, I will change the subject a little bit, but I was also invited, by other podcasts to share my story. So I don't know if you guys recalled the Booker T Hall of Fame podcast show. I was actually involved to where I would actually call in like to a radio station and like while he was on the air and talk his story, like talk my story. But then I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ringside Society, which is the Wrestling Fans podcast. Are you familiar with them?
I'm actually not familiar with it.
I am not either.
Okay, highly recommend you check out Ringside Society. Consists of 3 members. Remy Blue, who's like the main host. Kathy Knight, she goes by Blue 70517. Yes, that's the Blue. And then Rob Bass, who's actually from our state, our current state actually, where he's also a podcast host as well as a ring announcer and ring referee. So it's pretty cool.
That does sound cool. So it's called Ringside Society?
Yep, Ringside Society, the Wrestling Fans podcast.
Okay. And where can we find the podcast? Is it on Twitch,
you can actually find them on you can find them on Twitch, you can find them on YouTube.
Okay.
You can find them on X. I hate calling it X. I'd rather keep it as Twitter. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
I just
whatever.
I just call it Twitter X now instead of just
one or the other.
I'm so used to calling it Twitter that I'll say Twitter and somebody like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, Twitter X."
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's crazy.
Twix. God bless you, Blaze.
Love you, Blaze.
Hi, Blaze.
Freaking.
Hello,
Is it Blaze Radio?
Uh-huh.
Hey, Blaze. I'm the lady behind Empress Alicia.
So, gosh, dang it, I saw the freaking thing. I know he always does it, but still.
But did you see who it was that actually typed it without saying his name?
You're like, oh, hell no.
Yeah, someone.
Give me a hell yeah!
Give me a hell no!
Stole Blaze's phone and is now typing as him in our Twitch chat. A certain three-letter named bastard.
Oh
yeah.
God, no.
Hey, the man, if you say his name 3 times, he appears like his name is goddamn Beetlejuice.
Who around my parts and my fed is running around as the American? Insert his 3-letter word name. Speaking of, I gotta.
You're not thinking who. Wait a minute. You're not thinking what I thought you're thinking, right?
It starts with an R and ends with an X, but I will not say the middle letter because we can't say his name.
E?
Odds! Shh!
Oh, shut up. No, but I thought you were thinking of the other one. The one that starts with a J and ends with an E.
Gosh dang it! Oh, there he is.
Don't do that, dude. Don't do that.
We didn't say your name 3 times. Oh wait, that's only Blaze's show. Damn.
Okay.
You're not famous. You're infamous. Different.
Thank you, goddess.
Like, oh, hell no.
Empress!
Yeah, but I'm having a lot of fun with you guys, and I can't wait to be a part of this again soon. Like, I'm really enjoying myself.
Oh, thank you.
Who knows? I mean, and who knows? Maybe you might want to have me back as a guest again soon. I don't know.
It could very well happen.
Yeah.
We are. Let's see. Gosh dang it, Rex! Ah, I said his name. Damn it!
I I said it before already. Also, oh no. Me, Goddess, and you have all said it. At least once.
Oh god. We've all said it through. Well,
now you've done it.
Hold on. Rex. Oh no, he's already in the chat. Oh, darn it.
Okay.
No need to get hasty.
No need to get hasty, gentlemen.
Oh, man.
Anyway, well, if you guys don't have anything else, I guess we can end it, or if you guys want to continue on talking, I don't know.
Odds? I'm going to let you take this one away.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the shop is officially closed. Remember, this is a bi-weekly podcast. We will be back in 2 weeks for another podcast. This has been a very fun and enlightening episode. Thank you, Art. Thank you to our special guest. We would like to thank you all for joining us.
I think next week we have another special guest too, right, Odds?
Yes, we do. We have another special guest next week. But
or in 2 weeks, sorry.
Oh, what? In 2 weeks. But what would be the fun in telling you now?
To promote it?
Well, that's true.
Promote it, hopefully also so that if people don't see that certain someone, they can also call us out on it.
Exactly. That's true. We're going to have Chaz on the next episode.
Yes, the smartass will be on this next episode.
Exactly.
Oh,
so that one will be another fun episode. But with that being said, this has been the Let's Talk CAW Shop podcast. I'm Odds. That's Beetle, and that was Samurai.
And I'm Empress Alicia.
See y'all later.
Hey, I'll get out of here.
Welcome to the Let's Talk CAW Shop box.
Yes! I got out before he could use the Pikachu. Ha! Yes! You're not shocking me today, Blaze. Ha ha ha! Yes!
But we're giving our advice all the same. Like the Three Stooges, we'll bring the fun. Talking troll wrestling, second to none. Let's talk CAW Shop. Turn up the dial. Unfiltered opinions, that's our style. Crack our headphones and give us a listen. The Let's Talk CAW podcast.
See you guys in 2 weeks. Also, see you Wednesday for NXT. See you Friday for GM Mode. Saturday for Octane. And, well, actually, next Saturday is War Games. See you for War Games. And then for